I was found guilty of 3 counts of contempt of court by 2 judges. There was no jury to find me guilty, just 2 appointed judges. As I sat in court, I could not believe what I was hearing. Both judges found me guilty because they believed I breached the reporting restriction on a Muslim child rape gang trial. They also came to the conclusion that photographing Muslim child rapists while asking them questions before they entered court for their verdict created anxiety for the poor Muslim paedophiles. For that, I was to be punished with the full might of the British judicial system. Let me now outline to you what happened in my second trial for contempt of court. The original verdict was appealed due to unfairness.
And allow the appeal against that finding for the detailed reasons set out in the judgment, essentially because the process was flawed.
There were no charges for prejudicing the case or potentially collapsing the trial, as the media continued to push out. They originally tried to bring those charges last year, but they had to remove them as it had been proved in court twice. Nothing I said in my live stream could have prejudiced the jury. One charge was for breaching a reporting restriction, and the other 2 charges were for photographing the defendants when entering court and, according to the judge, aggressively questioning them. Both of these acts, the Attorney General and the government claimed could have made these poor Muslim child rapists feel anxious and therefore not be able to participate in their trial fully. This is despite the fact that the trial was already finished. It was over, so they had nothing to participate in. The trial had finished and the jury had retired to decide the verdict, which all came back as guilty. Let's look at the anxiety charges first and see what I actually said. So I'm at Leeds Crown Court, where these men here, let me see. Oh lads, how you feeling? How you feeling about your verdict? How you feeling about your verdict? How you feeling about your verdict?
What verdict?
How you feeling about the verdict? You got your prison bag for you?
Yeah, look at you.
Got your bags for you? You got your bags for you?
Yeah.
How you feeling about the verdict?
Oh, I suck your mum's funny.
Yeah,
You got no guilt. Is there any guilt? Is there any guilt, mate? Is there any guilt?
Fucking dad, you son of a bitch.
Oh, mate, how you doing, you alright?
Your wife's a prostitute.
My wife's a prostitute. My wife's a prostitute. How you doing, mate? What are you in court for today, if you don't mind me asking?
I've been seeing your mum.
You've been seeing my mum. Another comment about a woman. What are you in court for, mate? How's the trial gone? How's the trial gone? Yeah, how's the trial gone? How's the trial gone, bro?
I'm the one in court.
You're the one in court, yeah? Why is he carrying your bag then? Anyway. Another comment about your mum. That's every single alleged person who's walked into... Cheers, mate, thanks. Every single alleged person who's walked into court today has made sexual references about women. What was it? Which one? Oh, mate, what are you in court for?
Fuck yourself.
What's that? What are you in court for? Come on, mate.
Why did you just touch him?
This is the verdict. So the trial's ended, the jury are making their mind up, and this is the verdict. This is the verdict today.
Quick 2 minutes with you.
Are you going to arrest me?
Michael is going to explain what's going to happen next, right?
Am I being arrested? I am being arrested.
Causing a breach of peace.
I've caused a breach of peace. I'm being arrested.
But the content of what you're
Can we just say
streaming.
The content of what I'm streaming, I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. Can you get me a solicitor? Can you get me a solicitor?
Can you just turn off your live
Can
feed?
you get me a solicitor?
Turn off your live feed, please.
Yeah?
Do you understand what I've just said?
No, can you explain it again?
Causing a breach of the peace.
What does that mean? What does that mean, officer? What does that mean, officer? What does that mean, officer? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
I've been told that from the feed on my Facebook.
So to be clear, the questions I actually asked him was the following. All right, lads, how you feeling? How are you feeling about your verdict? All right, mate, how are you doing? Are you all right? Hello, mate, what are you in court for today? If you don't mind me asking. How's the trial gone, bro? As you can see, I was actually very polite despite some of the disgusting abuse that was thrown my way. By claiming that these questions were in any way aggressive, the judge and the prosecution have simply lied in open court. They've lied in order to back up this ridiculous charge of anxiety. Now, these monsters have been previously kidnapping and raping young children in gangs for years, in full view of everyone, including social services and the police force. They don't sound like the anxious type to me. One of them pushed me in the chest and told me to go fuck myself, when I simply said, "All right, mate, what are you in court for today?" The other 3 child rapist monsters, coincidentally, all made disgusting, vulgar sexual references about female members of my family. But one thing was for sure, none of them looked even remotely anxious.
How are you feeling about the verdict?
Oh, I suck your mum's fanny. Get off it.
You've got no guilt. Is there any guilt?
But according to the Attorney General and the judge, I was aggressive. And in the words of the prosecution, I molested them as they entered the court. Molested them. These are the guys that have molested and raped children for a decade. Is the Attorney General making some kind of sick joke? Now let's quickly take a look at me entering the Old Bailey for my court case.
Tommy Robinson, are you finally going to face justice for potentially collapsing his trial?
I didn't potentially collapse any trial. I'm actually not in charge. I'm not on trial for potentially collapsing the trial. My charge is causing anxiety to the men walking into court by putting cameras and asking them questions. Exactly what you've just done to me is what I face contempt of court for. Exactly this. Do you think this is causing me anxiety? Look at your actions. That's what I'm facing trial for. I didn't act this way. This is a facade. The whole public know that. That's why the public are here to support me. No, I didn't nearly collapse. That's a lie. You're lying. You're lying. I didn't nearly collapse. The judge's words in that case, nothing I said could have caused prejudice to jury. Nothing. That's the judge's words. That's the judge's words. Read the transcript. Do your job as a journalist. Do your job as a journalist.
Were you in contempt of court?
No, I wasn't. That's why I was released from prison. The whole case was unlawful. Now, this is politically motivated persecution by a government who want to silence me. That's what this is.
What do you think about the fact they brought these charges back?
I think it tells everyone the fact. Look at what's happening here. Can you see this? Look, I'm in court for causing them anxiety. Look at all these cameras, look at all these journalists. Yes, that's right. I was on my way into court just like those Muslim child rapists were. Lucy Manning from the BBC blocked my path along with multiple other journalists and media cameramen. She was far more aggressive in her line of questioning, even assuming my guilt, which you're not allowed to do.
Tommy Robinson, are you finally going to face justice for potentially collapsing his trial?
The media swarmed around me with cameras and microphones in my face. In fact, if you look at it, if you look at the press surrounding me in that video, it was 10 times more likely to cause someone anxiety than the polite, soft questions that I asked a Muslim rapist at Leeds Crown Court. Remember, I was completely on my own. Me and my phone. On Thursday, for the first day of my trial, every single newspaper published a picture of me entering court that morning. According to the Attorney General, that is now contempt of court. We played that video in court as evidence